The pressure got on you. Don't worry.
I got the president.
Kate pitches in. Sporty Princess shows off her rugby skills as she takes a pass from Danny Kerr on visit to Maidenhead. The Princess of Wales likes to take a hands-on approach to her early childhood campaign, and today she proved she is ready for action as she arrived at Maidenhead Rugby Club in her sports gear and got stuck into drills. Kate, 41, took a graceful pass from ex-England star Danny Kerr, looking athletic in a turquoise England rugby t-shirt, navy joggers from Sweaty Betty, and brilliant white Lululemon trainers. She was visiting the club as part of her work on her early years crusade, with new data showing an increased awareness of early years development since she became an advocate of the cause. The mother of three, who is known for her love of exercise and activity, has been patron of the Rugby Football Union since 2020, when she took over the role from her brother-in-law Prince Harry after he stepped down as a senior royal. Arriving at the club in the sunshine this morning, Kate was raring to go, with her hair tied into a sleek ponytail and simple gold earrings from Aurelia. She joined players on the pitch before sitting down for important discussions later in the day, as part of her Shaping Us campaign, speaking to fathers in the community about how sports clubs can be a good support network for children. Although the athletic princess got stuck into the activities, she had to be reminded during the drills that it was walking only, which led her to reply, sorry. It was harder work than it looked, forcing herself not to run, she later said. But she was still able to leap athletically and even twirl as she caught the ball and threw it to her teammate Courtney Laws, who later declared her a very good player. There was slight confusion afterwards as to whose team won. The Yellows declared it their victory, but Kate's Blues also claimed the honors. Kate's visit comes as the Royal Foundation Centre for Early Childhood has released statistics showing an increased awareness of the importance of early years development over the last year. But there is still plenty of work to do. A public perception survey commissioned by the foundation and conducted by Ipsos UK showed that last year, 17% of people identified the period between pregnancy and the age of 5 as a crucial time for shaping a child's future. That proportion has this year risen by 2% to 19% overall. Despite an overall increase in awareness, the data also showed that it was mostly women who identified the age range as important in shaping a child's future, at 24%, compared to just 14% of men. Later in the visit, when the princess sat down to discuss more serious matters about how sport can play an important role in shaping the lives of children, there was a deeply emotional moment as the princess was introduced to Maidenhead Under-14's coach Sarah Renton, whose talented sportswoman daughter, C, tragically took her own life at the age of 17 just a few weeks ago. A mother of three named Sarah gave the princess a pair of star-shaped earrings that had been made by her cousin in Issy's memory. Emotional Kate turned and hugged Mrs. Renton fiercely and promised to wear them. She explained afterwards, "My daughter Issy took her own life. The proceeds from the earrings are going to a charity called Brave Minds, a mental health charity that supports children using the platforms of rugby clubs. Mental health is such an important issue. She was wonderful, Issy, a real breath of fresh air. She had wonderful friends. Surrounded herself with the best people. She was owning life, doing so well in her A-levels. She was going to do an elite rugby program. She paid touch rugby for England and got a gold medal in the summer. But she was also struggling with depression. Everything was harder than it was supposed to be. We thought she was obviously doing better than she was. But I think one of the things we are looking at is GPs, medication, and lack of support. She got herself in a bit of a vacuum. It's affected a lot of the parents and children here at the club, but we are getting through it together." Mrs. Renton added that Kate told her she would wear the earrings in future. She is very passionate about what she does. It was so great that she came down here today, the mother said. Upon arrival today, the princess greeted former England player Hugo Moni with a warm smile as she exclaimed, "Hello, lovely to see you," and held out her hand to shake his. The rugby star, 40, who is a father and has championed the Shaping Us campaign, asked the princess how she was, to which she replied, "Very good, thank you. Thanks so much for joining in." Kate added she was looking forward to having some good chats throughout the day with male players about fatherhood and how sports clubs can improve children's early years development. But first she took on ex-England star Danny Kerr, 36, in rugby drills, where she leapt through the air with grace to catch the ball and showed her impressive agility as she darted across the pitch. Inside the club, Kate sat down the group of players including Laws and Care, to speak about their experiences as fathers, along with C. Trower, the founder of mental health charity Brave Mind, and other club players. Do you feel, particularly as a first-time dad, there was information out there to help guide you? Asked the princess. Not at the time, Mr. Trower said, but neither did I go out looking for it. It's a big life change and could be really hard at the time. Laws said to laughter from Kate and the other players. As a dad for the first 6 to 9 months my missus was breastfeeding, and you feel a bit of a spare part a lot of the time. If you knew the first 5 years of their life was such an important period, you would be more likely to dive right into it, instead of thinking, well, they'll get to 6 or 7 and start playing football, and then we'll be sweet. He added, what I've realized is that we are the best example that they have got. It's so important to be a role model for your kids, and see how you and your partner cooperate, solve issues and the like. Kate said, what started my journey looking into the first 5 years was going into schools, talking to them about mental health. The staff were telling me that so much more needs to be done before they even step past their door. She continued, so many of those years are nonverbal. Teenagers can articulate how they feel. With mental health, so many more people are talking about it, which is great, but we have to be careful not to over-medicalize it. That's why we wanted to focus predominantly on the social and emotional development of young children, particularly in this critical period, because it's the foundations of their healthy minds and healthy relationships later down the line. She then turned to the players and asked, do you feel as parents, because it didn't come across my radar as a first-time parent, the things we can do support our children's social and emotional development? There's a lot around breastfeeding, weaning, sleep time, baby's weight, but I was less aware around the things we could all be doing. It's harder to access that information as a first-time parent. All the men agreed. The princess added, there are parents up and down the country who haven't had positive childhoods of their own and who are struggling with their own kids, as well as highlighting the importance of the issue. Making sure that families have as much support as possible to do the best possible job they want to do is important. Every parent wants to do the best job they possible can, but they don't have the lifelines of their own family or community places such as this. Before she left, the princess posed for photographs with the professionals and club players, and was joking invited to kick a ball over the head of the photographers and journalists. Kate took up the challenge, sending the ball soaring to cheers. Danny Care, himself a father of 3, added, what shone through the conversation was that really cares about this. You can hear it when she talks about it. If you hear that a Royal Highness can have struggles with her kids, then you might feel a bit more normal about you having them. It was amazing for her to come down here and spend some time. He added, when it comes to fatherhood, you don't really know what it is all about until you become a dad. You can learn off experiences in your own life and listen to the older guys on the team. You always have people in this sport to lean on for advice, which is amazing. It's a real community. Then I've just kinda gone with it and seen how it goes. And you know what? The kids are alright, I think. They are healthy at least. Especially as a first-time dad, when you have real responsibility to deal with. You realize you have a little human being at home to take care of, and you ask your partner, what are we going to do? Hugo Moni said of the visit, I'm ecstatic. You always hope that conversations are going to be as open and as honest as that. But to have the richness and the depth of that sort of conversation, from parenting to siblings to role models in your life, was exceptional. It's a mindset of understanding that these are the most impactful years on your child's life, and to make them feel as settled and happy as possible.